Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We love you so much.
Sign the thing.
Please close the door.
Okay.
There goes.
Thank you.
Woo. That was a lot of Tupperware sold, gentlemen.
I think this...
How many we get?
Adam, how many do we have left?
It looks like there is only one Tupperware container left. And it is
fantastic. Look at us.
It is the one that is for one single egg, so I would consider that the smallest possible amount of Tupperware remaining. Excellent work, everyone.
I think you mean excellent work, Adam, and I would like to give this last piece of Tupperware to the VIP of the night, Mr. Mike E. After that insane stunt you did in the middle of the recreational vehicle to get that woman to buy that extra large piece of Tupperware.
Fitting your entire body inside that piece of Tupperware, nude, so that we could see you fill the space, was just incredible. I mean, David Blaine is rolling in his grave.
I felt like I was back in art school.
I had to somehow I had to show the carrying capacity of the Tupperware. And since I got my ribs removed, it's pretty easy for me.
Well, you got one removed. And we all know why.
Yeah, we all know. We all got it.
I think this joint campaign Tupperware fundraising party was a great idea, and I think it was a perfect way to launch the Tupperware Party, our new political party that we're all running under.
Yeah, now we just kind of have to decide, who wins, who loses through the primaries.
Of course.
Yeah, we're going to have a Tupperware party primary.
So we are splitting the funds made from tonight, right?
Oh, yeah.
50-50, agreed?
Well, I think we should take the sales sheet and work out, who made which sale. I mean, obviously Mike should get the extra large one because he filled it with himself.
Fine by me.
I think I should get the one that is for stacking two lasagnas on top of each other, just because, I made the example lasagnas. I then took them out and ate them in front of everybody. Got out a fork and knife, ate two lasagnas. You did a lot of work.
You did microwave oven those two lasagnas very well.
Well, and to prove that the Tupperware is microwave safe, ish. So, hey, I think I should get that sale. I think Alex should get the sale for which one did you sell again? It was that really...
It was the Tupperware designed specifically for your leftover Dunk It donut.
Oh, yes. The Dunk This.
It has a hole in the middle, and it's designed specifically just to put your little, just half or more of a donut in.
It's great because it also functions as a juicer. You just turn it upside down, and you can juice...
your donuts.
Yeah, juice this donut.
In case... You know, every time you're eating a jelly donut and you're like, wow, I wish I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, now you can.
Too much. You can get fresh grown organic jelly straight from the donut.
I'm glad that you were able to sell 40 of those things with that.
40.
Wow.
Good. And at $20 a pop. My God.
I think Alex got the lion's share of the profits here, but
and of course Mike's makings go to our side, so that's good.
That's true. But let's not forget that we have to take what is it? Let's see. Let me calculate. 65% of everything that we made needs to go up to the next tier of the Tupperware distributor network, and then 55 goes from them to the next one. And then the legacy executive director gets most of that. So it looks like once we pay our dues, we should be about $100 each. So success.
That's $100, baby.
Hey, right. We have money.
And Mike, how much did the inventory cost? Because you handled the inventory.
Yeah, that cost about $1,000.
Okay. Each?
Yeah.
So about $3,000. We've made about $300. I think we're in good shape. Yeah, no, I think
that's pretty good.
That's not bad. That's not terrible.
And you know what? The connections that we made with those voters is worth at least $2,700 in my book.
I'm with you. 100%.
And did we get any of them to actually sign the pledge to vote for us, or it looks like somebody might have actually used this as a napkin.
As a napkin.
Yeah, for the jelly.
I did get a couple of them, but I'm sorry. Wait, that was what that was? That was a pledge to vote?
Yeah, it was a pledge to vote, and then you could identify, who you were going to vote for, how excited you were, and your like demographic information, which would have been very helpful for outreach. But
I missed that memo. Actually, if those signed forms were, I had to print those out. I thought we were getting people to sign up for the army. I'm going to be honest with you, the Lynbrook's standing army. So I did get about 40 people to enlist. But now I'm starting to think maybe they didn't realize. Maybe they were just trying to get more Tupperware. In which case, we might have a couple legal issues on our hands here.
You've got a foot in two worlds with this. You made this promise at Geneva Convention to Electric Boogaloo, to Emmanuel Macron and not Pierre Trudeau, that's his dad, Justin Trudeau, that you were going to provide them with for unspecified purposes, an army of 50,000 men. And I think you're finding that you are unable to deliver on that promise so far.
Yeah, so as you guys know, I had Trudeau and Macron stop by and do a campaign event in front of Dunk This Donut, which was very, very kind of them.
Absolutely.
But they, Macron came up to me, and it sounded fantastic because of his accent, but his basic point was, hey, we did our research. You promised us a standing army of 50,000 men, and there are only 20,000 people living in the walls of Lynbrook. How is this going to happen? And I said, oopsie daisy. I thought we were gonna make some money and build the army with the toll prices that we had. I didn't really think about the bodies. And Macron said that you better freaking get it. We made a treaty and all this stuff, and I said, well, hypothetically speaking, what if I don't? And he said, it won't be that big a deal. But he was sharpening a guillotine while he was saying that, so I don't really...
He brought it over. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's probably fine. It's probably fine.
I think he meant it like as a campaign piece. I think.
He was gonna. Oh well, your whole part of your whole thing is we're gonna cut the head off of taxes, which grammatically doesn't make a ton of sense, but I mean for the metaphor.
Yeah.
And you're welcome for the scarecrow, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I appreciated Macron doing some prop comedy. I didn't really think that he would go deep in the world of Carrot Top and all of them, but he was into it.
No, he likes it deep.
True. I was gonna say, well, listen. I mean, we still had setting aside the French threat. We did have a lot of people come out to the event. We had a lot of people come out to here. I'd say we're actually doing pretty good with regards to the campaign. Polls are released next week, but I'm excited about that.
Can't wait to see him.
Yeah.
You guys have any predictions?
I think the fact that we're coming together under one banner of the Tupperware party it's only going to increase both of our shares of the vote as opposing candidates. Alex and Pastrami being from the same party and sharing similar views, they can only take votes away from the other candidate who has different views. I think that's how it works.
That's the science of politics.
They call it political science for a reason. Anyway, how's it going getting Santa, Alex? That was your responsibility this week.
Oh, it certainly was, Mike. Adam, how's your time going?
No. You promised that you were working with Reggie at Dunk This Donut. You were going to get 50,000 donuts for Santa so that he would endorse your campaign. I think we are all excited, especially now that we're brothers in arms. We all want the best for you. We want to know how the Santa chase is going.
Yeah, Santa chase is going fine. I was chatting with Reggie a couple days ago at this point, and obviously I'm still trying to get him to lighten up on the one donut per customer rule for Santa specifically, not even for me, for Santa, so that he would do something for me, but I left that part out, you see. But he said that's not up to him. That's up to something called I believe his name was Corporate, which I thought was a weird name for a person. But I'm gonna find this corporate and tell him to please, lighten up on the load. As for the Santa Hut specifically, I'm working very hard to try and track him down. I wanna scratch his back. I want that endorsement. You know, it would do big wonders for the Tupperware party. We know Santa is pro Tupperware. You know, his most famous item is, you know, just, it's a big bag. We know he needs that organization skills to organize his presents. So we could really do wonders for him.
I just am picturing, this is a beautiful future that I'm picturing, where Santa comes down the chimney and he opens up a Tupperware and takes a single wrapped gift out of it and puts it down, closes the Tupperware, goes back up the chimney, and then continues throughout the night. That is a future that I want to live in.
Doesn't that seem better than a bag? Who wants their gift in a bag?
Exactly. I mean, there's no guarantee of freshness with a bag.
Yeah.
And if you're like me and you receive a lot of fruits, vegetables, you know, prepared meals for Christmas, you want that freshness.
You want that freshness. Tyrone Dickey is the party of bags. We're the party of Tupperware.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Bring down with the bag party.
Yeah.
Any
so
updates
that's kind of what's going.
Pastrami's?
There are some updates from our campaign, certainly. You know, it took some convincing to get him to join hands with Alex, you know, under the banner of the Tupperware party. Made a lot of promises about the financial returns of doing so, and that seemed to have won him over. But I think he's having a little bit of doubt. I mean, as I mentioned last week, I went out to Hollywood over the holiday break, and I recruited Kelsey Grammer to run for vice mayor on the same ticket. And Kelsey, by the way, totally into the Tupperware idea. He loves it. And you know who was really into it?
Good for
We also recruited as our Secretary of City candidate, the Where's the Beef lady. She, huge fan of the Tupperware thing.
You actually got her?
Oh yeah, I already talked about this, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that you were hunting her down. I didn't realize that you actually had recruited her.
I think you're confusing me with Alex, who, in addition to looking for Santa, is also looking for the guy who makes the donuts from the Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Mike, that's us.
That's us. That's right. I apologize.
And I've been talking with the Where's the Beef lady, and she is concerned because they did have a thing back in the 80s, her and the Dunkin' Donuts guy. Because, you know, nothing goes together like donuts and beef. That's what she kept saying to me. I didn't ask exactly what that meant because I wasn't sure if it was like an innuendo. She kept saying nothing goes together like donuts and beef. And I said, I don't want to know what that is. Please just sign off on the Tupperware party. And she was like, absolutely, because. And I said, don't say it. She said, nothing goes together like donuts and beef. So, you know, we've got our group together, and I think Pastrami is a feeling a little bit left out from, you know, the spotlight is shared now with some of these superstars that have joined the campaign. So he's been talking about a publicity stunt. He's been saying, you know, I've got to do something to get myself back in front of everything. I've got to, you know, become the star of the show again. And I said, you know what? Let me see what I can do. I can pull some connections. I've got, you know, a storied and checkered past where I can find some wayward souls, perhaps, for him to, you know, really play up the priesthood thing. Be like, oh, you know, I saved this person. I'm mentoring this person, something like that. So is
that a good thing? Because I mean, Limburg still has separation of church and state. Are people really going to be excited about a priest that's converting people on the campaign?
No. It's not a conversion thing. It is a, you know, like it's, you know how like Catholic priests have a vibe, and then like a guy who's like a minister has a vibe that is not terrible. It's more like the second thing, where he's just going to be like mentoring an at-risk youth or something. So I just need to find some at-risk youths. I'm going to go through my Rolodex that I've compiled over the course of my life of at-risk youths that I've known. Of course, some of them will have aged out by now, but, you know, I'll see what I can do. that's pretty much, I mean, nothing really new to report. I mean, the big headline is we are, the Tupperware party. We have, as part of the Tupperware agreement, also, he has agreed to start storing all of the meat that as you can tell, he has agreed to stop storing all of the meat that he's been storing in the Winnebago in Tupperware containers in his deli. So that has obviously freed up a ton of space in here, and I can sleep on not meat for the first time in quite a while.
That's great. That
is great.
I had a very good week. Let's just say.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, it sounds like we're all doing pretty good. That's great.
Well, it's great to catch up with you guys. Do you think we should start the show or?
Yeah,
Fuck
let's
that.
actually. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely.
Okay, and the red light means that it's not recording. So let's go ahead and press. Well, I don't remember what key you press.
Press that right now. Press it.
Well, I'm gonna press. I think it's M. Okay. All right, and the red thing is moving across the screen. Okay, I think we're recording. Welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm Adam, that's Alex.
Me.
And that's Mike E.
Hey, everybody.
How are you guys doing? Any
doing
interesting
good.
stuff about your lives to report?
No.
I think we're getting away from that, right? This
We're
podcast
trying
isn't
to
about
have
that.
less of that on the podcast and do more of a straight ahead TV rewatch podcast, because that's what this is. This is the only Everybody Loves Raymond episode by episode rewatch podcast available to you today. And we are going to be talking about season 2, episode 11 today. It's called The Letter, and we'll be going scene by scene through it and giving you all of the meaty details. When we come back, we're skipping the part where we catch up with each other. We're going straight to the episode today, so you're welcome. And
Just like you wanted.
enjoy. We'll be right back.
Look at all this garbage.
Oh, that's so much garbage.
Look at all this junk.
Are you gonna like buy anything, or are you just?
Well, we are in the market for very specific types of garbage.
We love, we like all sorts of garbage. We like old TVs. We like broken garbage disposals.
But our favorite type of garbage is subscription services, but we don't have a lot of money. So you have any cheap sort of like pay what you want type services in this garbage dump that we could buy?
Well, I definitely have. You said you like broken TVs. We've got broken TV a month. We'll send you a broken TV
that's something.
a month from here. That'll be
Good for
free. I mean,
smashing.
it's mostly just getting it out of the way so that we can get more junk.
It's good for smashing.
You said you like broken garbage disposal. We've got
Big time. I like
so
the noise they make.
This is actually not a subscription for broken garbage disposals. This is for breaking your garbage disposal. We will send you a spoon every month for you to put in your
nice.
garbage disposal, break it.
Okay.
And then if you send the spoon back, we'll send you a new garbage disposal so you can replace it. It's sort of a self-sustaining
That's so great.
system.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that costs
okay.
$55 a month just because of the
That's not
amount
too
of
bad.
spoons that we go through. Is
Yeah,
that
I
sort
don't
of
know
the
if we have
thing
that
that
money,
you were
though.
looking for, or?
Yeah, it's reasonable, but they're
What
both a
else
little
you
too
got?
pricey.
I mean, we've got like some, I mean, I don't know if you guys are into like entertainment or like podcasts or something. We've got like,
Okay.
We certainly podcast, that's for sure.
Our favorite podcast is actually Everybody Loves Raymond. Do you have anything like that?
well, it's funny that you mentioned that because people have been coming in here like day after day, multiple people every day coming in, throwing these things in the garbage. Their subscriptions, or not even subscriptions really, they're like access to this thing called the Baroness Zonus. From what I understand, it's like a monthly bonus episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. I mean, I'm lousy with them. So what I did as the junk man is I started this website called postfund.org/donate, where if you pay what you want, any amount as little as $1, you can get lifetime access to one of these feeds. I'll send you one of these feeds, and you can get monthly bonus episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond. And that's just a way for me to make my money back to pay for spoons, to pay for mailing for broken TVs, the bread and butter, to pay for my bread and butter of
That
being
sounds
a
like
junkyard
good
man.
garbage.
It is good
garbage.
If
I'm having a stroke.
If my name isn't Jim Jarbage, this is good garbage, and go to postfund.org/donate. I'm having a stroke too. Hey, can I put your fist in my mouth?
Please.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm Adam, that's Alex, that's Mike, and we are going to be going through Season 2, Episode 11. It's called The Letter. Mike, what's your overall impression of this episode?
I will say this is the first time during that I had a scene in Everybody Loves Raymond that I found hard to watch. There was a lot of cringe comedy happening in the Tupperware scene. At different points, I was like, "Oh, good God, I don't know if I want to see this play all the way through." It was well done. But yeah, I didn't expect that entirely. But yeah, I mean, This was a good episode. This was a very good episode. A lot of characters and good character moments. A lot of good, a lot of good interactions. I thought this was very well done. Fast-moving plot. A lot happened in 22 minutes. And I give it I very much enjoyed this episode.
Awesome. Alex, what was your overall impression?
Mike, this was the first time you found a scene hard to watch?
Believe it or not, yeah. Like, actually, seriously, yes.
Wow. We're very different people, you and I.
What was the most cringe scene before this?
I don't remember. There were just a ton of them that just are tough to watch just because of how the characters like react and talk to each other.
How dysfunctional the family is. I mean, maybe that's not surprising for you, but for some people, maybe it's unusual. I don't know. I mean, famously, your wife hates you. Your, mom and dad live across the street. This is very much your day to day, but for most people,
it's not.
I guess you're right, but that's one thing. Dysfunctional families are one thing. Secondhand embarrassment is entirely something else in my mind, and I had a lot of secondhand embarrassment, specifically for Deborah, but still, like it was.
Oh no,
there
absolutely.
was a lot. Yeah,
this is. I thought this was a very interesting episode because, kind of like a lot of the plot like feels like it's a culmination of a lot of other past events between two characters, and kind of having that come to a head was in a way very satisfying to see them kind of confront an issue that's been very relevant in the show since like day one, and kind of seeing a beautiful resolution, and then at the end seeing kind of their way of being like, don't worry, things are still gonna kind of be the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Which, I don't know how I feel about that, but I do love, after, weeks of me saying, oh my God, how easy would all this conflict, be resolved if they would just talk to each other. Having two characters just talk to each other, and they make up and they kind of understand each other, and that's it. And then the rest of the characters find it absolutely baffling. I thought was very funny.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great scene. That was a very good scene.
As if the writers had heard me 25 years in the future and said, fuck that guy.
I agree. I think this was just a fantastically written episode, very funny. I think the structure of, we have the inciting action at the beginning. We have a couple of scenes split up. And then when Ray comes over to see if they received the letter, that's starting a very long scene that goes basically to the end of the episode, where we just ride the conflict through there and all the permutations of the different characters' dynamics coming out in different ways. Frank gleefully reading the letter, Robert's like horror at it, and just Marie and Deborah making up at the end. It was just a really, really like strong scene in every way. And it's one of like the better episodes that we've seen this season. Yes, very uncomfortable to watch Deborah's Tupperware party be ruined. Also very uncomfortable to, the idea of writing somebody a letter as a therapeutic exercise and actually sending it is mortifying.
Yeah, that was a mistake that she saw a little bit too late, obviously.
Yeah, we'll talk about it as we go through. But yeah, I really liked this episode. I had a lot of genuine laughs in this one. Okay, so let's start going through it. We start with our cold open of Ray coming home. He's got some pizza. He's calling for Deborah, but as he enters the living room, so does Helen from Tupperware. She greets him. So, yeah, Helen from Tupperware is played by Nora Dunn. Nora Dunn was on Saturday Night Live from 1985 to 1990. She's worked pretty much nonstop since then. She was, on just about every, like, sitcom that you can think of and relevant to us, like The Nanny she was on, which will eventually cross over with Raymond. She was also in the movie Air Bud Golden Receiver, so she is in the Air Bud universe.
Star.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Well, what did she play? Did she play one of those people saying a dog can't play football, or was she one of the people that was cheering it on?
I have to imagine she was cheering it on just because I think she seems like a good person. And
yeah, she's got a sunny disposition.
Air Bud is kind of like the prism through which people show their true colors. Like either you love Air Bud and you think it's great that this dog is, blowing apart discrimination in the world of sports, or you think that dogs should not be allowed to play sports.
Is that your read of? Is that your read of Air Bud? It's a story.
He's breaking barriers.
Yeah,
he's breaking barriers.
I guess so.
Air Bud
is. Yeah. Okay. All right. We should do a rewatch.
Yes, we should do. Hey, Baronis Zonis, we should do every Air Bud movie. Budronis Zonis.
Are you?
I believe it or not, yeah. I'd like to know how it holds up.
Let's do the Budronis Zonis.
The Budronis Zonis. Perfect.
Nora Dunn is currently on the show Home Economics. She recurs on that.
I've seen that one.
I think it's on ABC. Yeah, or something. Yeah. So that's Nora Dunn. I think Nora Dunn is our first Saturday Night Live alum that we've had. Bob Odenkirk was a Saturday Night Live writer, but not a performer. So she's our first SNL performer.
So technically, Bob Odenkirk was our first SNL alum, but on the real, this is the first performer alum that we've seen.
Yeah, first cast member. She was in the same cast as John Lovitz and like Robert Downey Jr. in like that really weird time in the late 80s.
Right.
So Helen from Tupperware greets Ray, and Ray has this little thing where he thinks it's one of those dreams that he has.
This came across as super creepy.
Says, it's a strange thing to say to somebody, isn't it?
But, I mean, you'd also just see, like, a random woman just in your house. Obviously, the first question should be, who are you?
Yeah. Where's that? Like, what you do with my wife?
I can understand Raymond's confusion, not his kind of reaction to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little creepy. But Deborah, it turns out, is hosting a Tupperware party. I guess she's just providing the location, and Helen is going to be delivering the seminar sales pitch.
So I gotta say, I've never heard of a Tupperware party before this episode at all. Like
it was a big thing in the 60s and 70s. It actually still continues today.
Does it?
So the format is basically that a Tupperware consultant invites people over, friends and neighbors, to see the product line. So they get like some inventory from the Tupperware company. It's, bowls and other types of containers with vacuum sealed lids. they do them in, or they did them in like workplaces, schools, like they were everywhere for a little while. The thing about Tupperware is if it sounds suspiciously like a multi-level marketing scheme, it's because it is.
Oh, no.
They're organized in a tiered structure with consultants at the bottom, managers and star managers over them, and then various levels of directors up. And at the very top, you have what are called legacy executive directors.
Oh, God.
Statistics released by Tupperware in 2018 showed that 94% of its active distributors remained on the lowest level of the pyramid, with average gross earnings of $653.
Oh,
so very
no.
few legacy executive directors. Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. However,
does that spell bad news for our campaigner?
No, that's a good point.
no,
I think
we
maybe.
only have the one container left, so it's not really our problem, right?
I guess.
Our dealing with them is done.
Yeah, I suppose.
Unless we didn't. Did you guys also sign that contract in blood, or was that just me?
No, they specified they needed specifically O negative, and that's what I got. So I just kind of pricked and
It was a first for me with having to sign something in blood over DocuSign. I had never had to do that before.
that was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tupperware, they have transitioned in recent years, at least in North America, to selling directly through like stores, through like Target, but that has not been going great for them. Tupperware is kind of on the decline. They still do like Tupperware parties in other markets. Here's something that's interesting. Tupperware is listed, according to Yale's Chief Executive Leadership Institute, as a company that has refused to curtail its business in Russia after the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Oh, that's a weird. That's a
That
weird.
might
That is
have
a little
a
weird.
negative effect on
Yeah.
our campaign.
I was gonna say that's some bad PR. That's some really bad PR.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I also will say I suspected this was like an MLM. My first thought was that it was like an Avon kind of thing. Is Avon also multi-level marketing? Okay, cool, good to know.
Oh, yeah.
But I saw, because in the back, it wasn't just that they're selling Tupperware, which is already kind of a weird concept to me personally. I don't know, but if you notice in the back, there was like a little like easel, and on it was like it had information about careers in Tupperware. It was like 30% of Tupperware people and all these stats.
Oh, okay.
So my thought
I didn't
was
get
like,
a good look at that.
yeah. I thought it was like, I don't know what I processed it as, but I thought it was weird. I thought it was like some kind of like selling a career. It was a recruitment thing. I wasn't sure what was going on. But this is some kind of a selling party? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like a selling party, and then I'm sure they're encouraged to like, hey, you could make a lot of money doing this if you want to join my downline, and then they pay a share to the person who got them in, and then up the pyramid until you get to the legacy executive director,
etc. etc. Okay.
Yeah. That is all from reputable sources, so this is not, don't come for us, Tupperware, although we did sign those contracts in blood.
Yeah, well.
I don't know. So that's what a Tupperware party is. Deborah's hosting one, or at least providing the venue for one, but unfortunately, Ray has invited the guys over to watch, quote-unquote, the fight.
Adam, do you want to come over tomorrow and watch the big fight?
I mean, in theory, yes, but I guess what I'm more confused about is like, which fight is it?
Well, this one specifically.
And is it going to be between us?
No, I paid a professional stunt actor to ruthlessly attack a mutual friend who you may or may not know. Name rhymes with Ike.
Ike me.
Ike me. He doesn't know about it.
We have a lot of things in common, me and this guy.
Yeah, no. So if you want to come down to the corner of Union and Scranton and just kind of, bring a lawn chair, and Mike, if you want to show it up there at 1:00, just kind of, bring your most breakable glasses, and I think we're gonna all have fun.
Oh, that's a weird time for a fight. That's like
that is a
broad
fight
daylight.
that I would be interested in seeing. Huh. It sounds like that is something that I would pay per view.
That's the idea.
Have you ever been in a fight?
Have I ever been in a fight?
Yeah, have you ever been in a fight?
I've ended a few. I never
killed people. How many people have you killed?
On cam, I should not say on podcast. More than 4.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Alex, have you ever been in a fight?
No, I have not. If someone wants to come up and punch me, then
Have you ever been in a fight, Adam?
No, I've never had the pleasure. No one's invited. Again, no one has invited me to the fight.
That's how fights always work. You get a nice invite in the mail. It's all designed. It's all great. Yeah.
Yeah, you get an Evite.
I think that would actually be a funny way to do it, is to ask somebody, hey, you want to come over and watch the fight? And then they're like, oh, sure. And then you have them come 2 steps forward, and then we're here.
I like
smack them in the face.
I like the idea more of like sending an edible arrangement and being very upfront with it, of just like, there are pineapples, and then the card says "fight me?" ?
Well, I think we all have that to look forward to. Hey, if you're interested, Raymond at postfund.org.
Donate to the Baroness Jonas, and you'll get to fight one of us.
The Baroness Jonas. What if there was an Air Bud where he was boxing? Has that ever been done? Like maybe he's boxing a kangaroo
I'm looking it
or
up
a man?
right now.
That would be badass.
All right, let's get back to the show. Okay, so she's currently on home economics.
Well, good for
Ray
her.
thinks that's going back too far.
Yeah.
So Ray invited the guys over to watch the fight. So now we have the house is double booked. Helen, I don't remember what the transition is. Maybe she invites the guys to stay. She shows them the Piccadilly, which is you can pick a pickle without getting your fingers wet.
I'm here for it, and Ray seems super excited about it.
Yeah, Ray seems very into it. I mean, honestly, we'll get to it, but all the guys seem very into the Tupperware, but nobody wants to share it with them. It's a very insular thing.
I'm with you.
Not hard to see why, but yeah. So Ray, I think that's where it ends, is Ray like takes the pickle or something, and then we cut to black. There's no intro for this episode, no theme song.
Yeah, that's right.
We just have the little overlay.
Oh
at the
my
start
god,
of the
there
cold open.
is no theme song in this one. That feels kind of special.
I like when they do that. They get those like 30 seconds back to put more plot in.
I mean, it's really just because they need it, but like, still, it's cool.
Yeah. So we come back to Deborah begging Ray to basically either disinvite his friends or have them go somewhere else. And then at that point, the ladies who are coming over for the Tupperware party come over. Linda, who we've seen before, is among that bunch. Maggie Wheeler, we've talked about before. She's great in all of these episodes.
Yeah,
they arrive.
The one thing that stood out to me is Deborah has a lot of friends here. Like the ladies just keep coming in. I don't know how she got this popular.
And this is only the first wave, as we find out. Like, Deborah knows a lot of people. But at the same time as this wave of women, Gianni and Andy come in. So this is actually John Manfrotti's first appearance as Gianni.
Oh, that's right. He was the cable dude.
Yes, in season 1, episode 17, he appeared as the cable guy. But now he's one of Ray's friends. And then Andy is there as well. And Ray and Deborah have negotiated, or Deborah is telling Ray that the guys will be watching the fight upstairs in the bedroom. Deborah tells Ray to make sure they don't go through their drawers or closet or try on her shoes.
I just want to point out, Gianni is a little bit, but Andy is horned up as he walks in.
Yeah, to the point that did make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, he just goes,
yeah.
oh, we got dates. Do they choose us or do we choose the? I was not having that. I'll be real with you. And
No,
then
I
he
don't
gets
like that.
very excited about going to the bedroom, about going to the hot zone with a bunch of
Yeah,
other
the hot zone.
guys. Just gonna say, I don't think I've ever gotten horny just thinking about the bedroom of my friends' rooms. That's a little, it's a little weird.
The bedroom as a concept.
Yeah.
So another wave of women arrive at this point, and Frank and Robert are in this group as well, so they're also coming over. Amy's coming over as well. Ray tries to usher them upstairs, but Robert first has to say goodbye to Amy, and he does so very self-consciously. I think he's a little nervous about showing affection in front of Ray. So what does he do? He pats her on the head or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. Like, ruffles up her hair a little bit, like he's talking to a 6-year-old. Yeah.
Classic Robert.
Robert.
So they go upstairs. Helen is getting the party going with some barnyard bingo.
What is Barnyard Bingo?
I'm not sure. There's a Fisher-Price toy called Barnyard Bingo. I think that's the thing where you press a button and it spins a wheel and it lands on an animal.
Oh, okay.
And it makes the sound. Maybe there's some like risque adult version that these women are going to be doing at the Tupperware party. I don't know.
Because if
But
it's not,
Ray-
then it goes 0 to 100 real quick with the second game.
Yeah. As he's going upstairs, Ray whispers to Deborah to pick chicken. I mean, I think this was a funny joke. I'm just
cute.
like not knowing Barnyard Bingo. I don't know if it was like strategically, is chicken a good move in Barnyard Bingo? We have no way of knowing.
Write to us. Tell us if you're a Barnyard Bingo aficionado. Let us know.
We'll do a Budronis where we play Barnyard Bingo. We'll have to come up with some rules for it, but we'll figure it out.
Okay.
At this point, Marie comes over. As Ray is about to go up the stairs, Marie comes over. He has to come back down. She has brought some crab and artichoke dip for the guys for watching the fight. And then...
What's more manly thing to eat at a fight than while watching two guys punch each other and break each other's noses, blood everywhere, than just to go and dip some crab with a cracker? And I don't, something about that just feels very, very different for me. I thought that was funny.
Pizza makes sense. Maybe wings, but crab and artichoke dish is a little elevated, I think.
Pigs in a blanket I could get behind. I don't know. Something about that, though.
Chili.
Yeah, chili.
Yeah. I think any kind of like dip is appropriate for like a Super Bowl party.
Sure.
But yeah, a fight seems like very like
something meaty.
bare minimum.
Yeah.
Something meaty and like testosterone-y.
Yeah.
You guys ever have testosteroni from the deli?
Yeah.
Which deli?
Down the street. Down the street. The new deli does it really well.
Yeah, the new deli makes a hell of a testosterone. So Marie has brought over this crab and artichoke dip. She didn't know anything about the party. She's like, "Oh, what's this?" I liked Deborah's maneuver here.
Yeah,
of
me too.
Immediately going like, "Ray, I told you to invite your mother. Did you forget?" I thought that was very savvy.
That was beautiful. And I love that Ray goes with it, not because he sees what she's doing, but because he believes wholeheartedly that he just forgot to pass on the message.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Very funny. So they have Marie sit down and join the party. They're going to play Barnyard Bingo. She chooses, she says she likes the movie Babe with the talking pig. I'll be that. And Deborah sort of, does a very polite smile.
Yeah.
I thought that was a mean joke.
It was.
To imply that Marie is a talking pig.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. It's funny. Yeah. So we cross to the kitchen with Deborah and Ray. Deborah does some very sloppy Canada Dry pours out of the 2-liter into some cups for people.
She also said, "I'm going to get everybody soda," and then pours Canada Dry. If I'm asking
ginger ale.
If I'm asking for soda and you serve me ginger ale, I'm going to be upset. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to secretly be disappointed.
I wonder if when people were like walking up the driveway to the front door, they were like whispering to each other, like, just so you know, they only have Canada Dry here. I don't know what the deal is with it, but
I don't get it either.
Yeah, just take it to be polite. You don't have to drink it. So Deborah's pouring these quote unquote sodas out, and tells Ray that she didn't actually want Marie there, but it's the
rude.
Standard stuff when
Rude to get her out now, that kind of thing.
Yeah. The standard stuff that happens every couple of episodes of Marie being intrusive and Deborah not being a fan of that. But we cut from there. We actually do kind of like a fade to Linda telling a story about Bernie, who we've met before and who's a dirtbag.
I was so excited to hear about them again. Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I like when Linda and Bernie show up. They're very interesting characters. Bernie got the wrong size of curtain rod because he didn't measure it. He eyeballed it. Linda says, why don't men ever want to measure? Or rather, Amy says, why don't men ever want to measure anything? And Linda says, why do you think? I might have that backwards, but, dick joke.
Yeah.
One way or another. It's a funny line. Funny joke.
Yeah. So it turns out that Bernie went back to the hardware store 12 times to get the right size of curtain rod, to which Marie says, 12 times to buy curtain rods? Maybe Bernie's fooling around. And that sucks the air out of the room.
And Linda desperately runs into the other room to be like, oh, shit.
She goes to call Bernie.
Can I just also put a pause? This doesn't have to do with the Linda and Bernie situation, but something I noticed. When Marie first comes in, she hands the crab and artichoke dip to Ray. And then the whole thing of Deborah's like blaming Ray for not inviting Marie. And Ray puts the tray down to run into the other room to tell Deborah that, hey, sorry, I screwed up. My apologies. And then that whole conversation happens. And then we fade to black. And Ray's upstairs, presumably watching the fight. Fights last a long time. Presumably we're an hour or two in because they're about to walk down. When they cut over and they have that conversation, the tray of crab and artichoke dip is still there. It's still in view. So Ray just did not bring it up. And I just noticed that of just like, damn it, Ray. I don't know if it was a continuity thing or not, but it upset me because the dip actually
they might have
looks
just
really
not thought
good.
About it.
Still.
They didn't address it.
Still. It upset me.
Have you made you appear to have made a New Year's resolution, and I'm for it, of tracking the continuity of food between shots, because you did this in the last episode as well with Robert's Cookies.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. We need to convene later and decide what the name of this segment is going to be.
Yeah, because I've noticed that in every single conversation they have, and I get it, you got to give them something to do because otherwise it looks unnatural, but in every single episode, basically every single scene, someone's eating and someone's doing cooking or something like that. So I was just like, I want to see how closely they pay attention to these things, and clearly not as consistent as I would like. That's all.
Fair enough.
I think you would be a good I don't even know what I would imagine that person is pretty low down on like the set decoration team.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a good job for you, a food continuity officer.
Yeah, I also will say that it's also the food continuity officer for the FCO. It's kind of awkward to pull the director aside and be like, "Hey Phil, the dip didn't go upstairs. We gotta move it." That's a hard conversation to have.
I think people would appreciate it. They would say, "Thank you, Mike. That is very helpful." And then you would walk away to move the dip, and then they would talk to the producer next to them and say, "We got to get rid of this guy. We gotta fire this guy immediately."
He's so interested in the dip. I don't get it.
Yeah, but you let him take the dip home. That's kind. Yeah. So you would get something out of it, but you'd lose a job.
Yeah, exactly. I'd
like
go to
that
sleep. I go to sleep at night. I'd have a good sleep at night and have no trouble with that. But yeah, that would be an issue.
Okay. So maybe Bernie's fooling around. She goes to call Bernie. They transition to their next game, which is called Guess Who's Nighty.
Scandalous.
This one was
This felt like an escalation from Barnyard Bingo.
It sure
This is now
did.
getting into like bachelorette party territory.
Agreed.
Very much
I think
so.
it would be funny if one of the Tupperware items was penis straws. But you know, vacuum.
It's still a family show there, Adam. I don't know.
They wouldn't have to show it. They could, you know, there's ways to frame that where, oh, penis straw, but we the audience don't actually see it.
Penis.
This is just my hope. So the game is they pass the bag around, you pull one out, and guess whose it is. Marie goes first because she didn't bring one because she didn't know about the party. She
Makes that known again.
manages to slide in there. Yeah, makes that known. She pulls Amy's, and of course, this is probably where you were feeling some secondhand embarrassment.
Yep.
Amy cycles through 4 justifications. I never wear it. I bought it for the game. Robert's never seen it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Grabs it and sits down.
That was kind of funny. I will say the most cringe that I felt was when the guys come back down, but we'll get there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This whole thing is just fucked.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. These two worlds shouldn't have collided. Marie pulls another one out, but Deborah's trying to, intervene. It's not her turn. They try to take it from each other, and it rips. And Gail says, "I wore that on my honeymoon." Gail is one of the women attending the party, and would you like to know about Gail?
Of course.
The actor playing Gail.
Tell us all about her.
Kristen Truxas plays Gail. What's principally interesting about her for our purposes is she will come back and play a background character in season 8, episode 8. I believe she's also a party guest in that one, but doesn't have a name. She did a lot of guest appearances in like 80s and 90s TV, like one and done kind of things. She had small roles in 2 Farrelly Brothers movies, Me, Myself, and Irene, and Stuck on You. And most recently, it looks like she was doing live sketch and improv in LA.
Oh, okay.
I have requested to follow her on Instagram with our official account. We will see how that goes. Maybe she can,
How many followers does she
chime
have?
in
Is it
about
like
her
a big account,
experience.
or?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll ask her, and then if we get any kind of comment, I'll plug it in right here. And if you didn't hear anything, we didn't.
What's her account name?
So anyway, her account name is, I think, just her name.
Okay.
Turckses. I'll let you do that while I continue going through the
Yeah,
episode.
that's fine.
Linda, Gail's thing rips. She wore that on her honeymoon. Linda pulls Deborah aside to tell her that Bernie has not answered the phone at home. He's not at home. He's not at Nemo's. She's fairly certain Bernie is stepping out on her. Knowing what we know about Bernie,
Would not
by the
shock
way,
me.
especially from his behavior with the waitress, would not shock me either.
No, not in the least.
We're not fans, I don't think, at this point.
That is
He might
correct.
redeem himself later. We don't know. So at this point, the guys come downstairs. The fight is over. Frank says something to the effect of, "That was no fight. I thought those guys were going to, go antiquing afterwards or something." Mildly like homophobic.
How they do.
I don't know how Frank does. That's in Frank's wheelhouse. But they come down and they're about to leave, but Marie invites them all to stay. She says, "What about all this food Deborah made that nobody touched? What is this, a sandwich?" And at that point, Linda storms out, and the guys kind of stay. Andy sits down on the couch.
Yeah.
Robert sits next to Amy. And then Frank starts digging through the bag. And that's sort of the catalyst, I feel like,
Yeah.
for people feeling like we can't be around this anymore. The party falls apart. Everybody leaves. I thought Helen's line of furiously packing the Tupperware and saying, "This territory blows," was pretty funny.
That was fantastic. But yeah, when Andy starts hitting on the woman, when Frank starts going through the unmentionables, this is the time when I'm just like, this is, I would not like to be Deborah at this point. I've already ruined a friend's treasured heirloom, apparently, and and it's all going downhill from here. This was really, really kind of a clusterfuck. So yeah.
Yeah. So we cut to from there. Oh, I was gonna say, it reminds me of In-Laws in the French restaurant. I would not have wanted to be any of the patrons in that restaurant while they were freaking out at each other. This has that same energy of the Barones colliding with an otherwise normal social gathering.
Yes. I will say, I also think it was right here where Deborah said something to the effect of like, I really didn't want the night to go this way, and then Marie says, of course you didn't, no one wants to throw a bad party, and just something about that was just like, Jesus, Marie, read the room a little bit, come on.
I know. She can't resist twisting the knife.
No, not at all.
So from there we cut to Ray. He was in the shower, and now he's coming into the bedroom. He says, I just did my whole back with that scrub brush. Deborah says that was for fruit. Deborah is sitting on the bed writing a letter to Marie about her ruining the party. And Ray's like, oh, you're doing that for therapy, right? You're not going to send it. But Deborah says, no, she is going to send it. And Ray's mortified.
Ray freaks out.
Do you guys think that sending a letter like this would actually be better than sitting down and talking to the person? Or would it come off as petty?
I don't think so, no.
No. I actually do think that Ray has a very good point about, like, once it's in writing, you can't retract it. He's not wrong about that. Like, that's a very, very valid thing, because as we see at the end of the episode, Marie takes this letter and puts it in, and basically puts it into lock and load for future ammunition. And I also think it's a matter of, like, you could also reread it and convince yourself that this is not a good idea.
There's the exercise of writing it out and, getting your feelings on paper so you can process it, but anyone will tell you, do not send that letter. It's sort of, and also, from like the receiver's standpoint, it's kind of like you're not going to have much luck writing a note to somebody to like clean the microwave in the office kitchen. But if you just say, hey, can you guys make sure you clean the microwave? That's going to have a lot more effect, because you can tell tone and, intention, and it's not like preachy.
Absolutely.
I think this is a similar thing. Like when they actually talk to each other, they solve the problem pretty quickly.
Yeah, agreed.
However, Deborah has her heart set on it at this point. She says she wants to be honest. Ray says, but don't put that in writing. You can't take it back. Deborah's writing about, or she tells Ray that she's fed up with Marie making her feel like she's sorry that Ray ever married her. She's tired of Marie, rewashing the clothes, rewashing the kids, which I thought was a funny line.
That is.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So Deborah is adamant that she's going to write this and send it. Ray makes this like little whining noise, pacing around the bedroom, and then he tries to grab the pad, and he fails to do so and says, I had to try. Deborah has a pretty nice line of, you could try supporting me. And Ray kind of has a very like...
mature.
I'm proud of this breakthrough for him of, just because I can't confront my mother doesn't mean I should stop you from doing it.
But then he proceeds to try to stop her from doing it.
Very mature. He does try to stop her from doing it. He tries to stop it all from happening, and, classic Ray. But I feel like it's good to see Ray, like, intellectually understand that, even though in the moment he panics and tries everything he can to stop it from happening.
Right. I will say also that I did like the kind of like childish wrestle fight that they have over the pad. I thought that was kind of funny. And I will also say that like I think that at the very least Ray realized what he had to say in the moment, even if, all of his actions go towards that he didn't really believe it. He said the right thing. You gotta give him credit where credit's due.
He did. He landed on his feet in that one.
Yeah.
Until he didn't.
Until he did.
Until he fell down moments later.
No, I don't even know if that was if we'll talk about this too, but I don't know what I would do if I was in Ray's shoes, just knowing this is a time bomb that is not going to go well for anybody involved. Yeah.
This is a situation where anything that you could do would be equivalent to what Ray would do. I don't really blame him either.
Nah, yeah.
So we cut to the big scene. Ray coming over to the Barones. Marie immediately offers him waffles, but he asks if they have gotten their mail yet. And Frank wants to know why. And Ray says, essentially, sometimes we get your mail, which is kind of a benign statement, but I thought it was such a funny choice to have Frank completely derail it
over the coupons.
He asks for what kind of mail they get. Ray says, junk mail, flyers, coupons. We throw them out. And Frank, you throw out coupons? That's money. It reminded me of the Fruit of the Month scene.
I was thinking the same thing.
The way that they just disproportionately respond to something. Frank asks him if he got the carpet cleaning coupon. That's $10. Ray, fed up, offers him $20 for the $10 carpet cleaning coupon.
I'll give you $20 so this conversation will end. I thought that was a great it.
They're screaming at each other. Marie intervening and saying, no, you don't teach him a lesson that way, you have him clean the carpet. I thought was just very funny.
This is a great scene.
And then the way it's called back is really great. So Robert and Shamsky come in. He was walking the dog, and Marie asks if he wants waffles. He says 6 boysenberry.
Quick response.
This is routine for them.
I love it.
Also, 6 waffles is a lot.
So much.
So many waffles.
But Robert has the mail. He hands it to Frank, who flips through it. Crap. Coupon! Here's one that made it through. I thought was very funny.
Frank had this is a great Frank scene too.
Yeah. For sure. Frank then finds the letter for Marie and hands it to her. Ray tries to take it. He says, this is the invitation to the Tupperware party. And Marie's like, no, look how many pages it has. It's a letter. Ray says it's got so many pages because it's got directions to our house.
Which is just great.
But Frank then snatches it from Ray very smoothly too. Snatches it from Ray and then he says, don't read your mother's mail, that's private, and then starts reading it out loud.
Again, very Frank.
Yeah. It's from Deborah. This letter has been a long time coming. And Marie says it must be a thank you note. I thought it was very funny.
That's great.
Fucking tragic.
The thesis statement is, for 8 years now, I've held my tongue about how hurtful and destructive your behavior can sometimes be. I thought Robert's read of, oh
God.
My God.
Beautiful.
Marie tells Frank to keep reading. Deborah is telling Marie that she doesn't have the right to interfere with her life, and Frank's cracking up as he's reading this. And then I thought Ray's jumping up and proclaiming, I want you guys to know right now that Deborah has a drinking problem, just as his first desperate effort to stop it. Very funny. Frank keeps reading, Marie's intrusive, etc. He says, is this a petition? Where do I sign? Frank is very gleefully
Frank's having a great time.
All of, yeah, Frank loves this. Marie storms out. And, we think as the audience she's going to go and, be upset about it, but she comes back with a pad and pen and she starts writing, Dear Deborah.
That's great.
She's not the only one who can throw around fancy words. And then she pauses for a second and gets up. Where's my dictionary?
Just fantastic.
So she leaves to go find her dictionary. Deborah comes over at this point and is sort of like, did you guys happen to get the... And then Frank, mail, Robert says, and then Frank says, you're my favorite writer.
Deborah's losing her mind because she didn't realize everybody had seen this. Now it's like this is a huge event. Yeah.
Yeah, It's a big deal. Marie comes back in very coldly. Hello, Deborah. I got your special delivery. And Deborah immediately apologizes. Ray says, your timing sucks. So they are going back and forth, Marie and Deborah. Robert steps up. He says he's dealt with his fair share of domestic disputes, but Marie cuts him off. Eat your waffles, Robbie. And he immediately sits back down. Deborah continues apologizing. And this is probably what they should have done in the first place. Talk about the problem with each other. Marie has always known, she says, that Deborah has felt this way. She says that Deborah makes her feel unwelcome in her house. But Deborah says, you're over all the time. You don't give me a chance to welcome you, which really stops Marie in her tracks. Marie says that that's just her way of trying to make them a family. She feels like Deborah doesn't want her in her family.
Is
but
this
Deborah
where they start
feels
crying?
the same way.
Yeah.
At
right
some
when they
point
start
in this,
crying.
They just start leaving.
beginning to cry.
I did love the cutbacks in between this conversation in which they're talking about it, and then it cuts over to the guys just like absolutely baffled that this is going on. They were just expecting a nuclear bomb to go off, and instead it's this. They're crying at each other. I thought that this was very well acted on all parties. I thought this was great.
The sort of like punchline of this exchange, Deborah feels like Marie bringing over food is a criticism. Marie does it because she cares, but it makes Deborah feel like she's not as good as her. And then the punchline from Marie, you don't have to be as good as me. I thought that was so great.
It was perfect.
Yeah. So they cry, they say, I love you, they hug, and then they leave to go get Marie the Tupperware that she ordered, and everything's okay. And then after they leave, we cut back to the guys, and they're dumbfounded. Frank says, what in hell's bathroom was that? That was a fight. That was a women's fight. Frank says, I'm glad we didn't order that on pay-per-view. And then Ray says, Robert, are you crying? And Robert, great physical comedy of tearing up and trying to not seem like he's emotionally affected.
It was already
just a fantastic scene.
Yeah, it was already a great scene, and it was already a good line of just like the utter bewilderment. But the fact that they took the next step and Robert was affected by all of this, and he's breaking. I gotta give kudos. This was a great. This is a great little bit. Yeah.
Everybody gets a moment to shine in this scene, and it's really, really strong.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite scenes, if not the whole time, definitely the season.
We don't often get just scenes where all five of the main actors get to like really like show off their chops at the same time. I thought this was a really like interesting and like special little moment.
Yeah, it was
totally.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about that too, like maybe the Scruples episode, or I don't even know, but like it is rare that like they each get a turn to really play on the dynamics that we've learned already at this point, and pull in aspects of their history over the course of the show that we have observed so far. Like it is a scene that rewards having watched the show all the way through up to this point.
Now our 40th something episode. Yeah. We're close to that, I think.
So just an awesome scene.
Yeah.
So we go from there to our hot close. It's the opposite of the cold open. It's Ray, Deborah, and the kids in their kitchen. Deborah says, they had to have that blow up to get past it. And then we cut to Marie and Frank in their kitchen. Marie digging through the garbage and saying, Frank, you threw out Deborah's letter. And Frank says, yeah, it's trash. Frank, you don't throw this away, she says while smoothing it out. Not ever. Not ever. She unlocks her sucrettes drawer from a couple episodes ago.
That's right.
I love that made a comeback.
I was trying to remember what was in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and she puts it back in and locks it back up. Not ever. So yeah, as was foreshadowed in the bedroom scene, you don't put that in writing because
now she has
it back. She has it forever. Mm-hmm. I thought, and a really, really strong episode. I really liked this episode.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I definitely one of the best.
I felt like a little differently about it until we kind of really sat down and talked to all the way through it. And yeah, honestly, this is probably the best, one of the best we've seen all seasons so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
there
maybe
were a lot of good
the
ones this
weakest
season.
part was, it's true. Yeah. They've really found their footing. Maybe the start was kind of slow, but once we got to that big main scene, that really took it to the next level.
I agree.
Totally.
It reminds me of it's the same sort of The Dog, which was also this season. Mm-hmm. Once we got to Patience Cleveland coming over to collect her dog, that's when it took off to the next level. This was once they opened the letter, it really took off.
Right.
So let's turn our attention to our patented barometer. It is the scale from 1 to 10 on which we raise performance as a husband, son, brother, father, Tupperware purchaser. Maybe not.
We love it.
Yeah. 1 being the great dads. Nope. 1 being the terrible dads of sitcom or television history. So Don Draper, Walter White, men who actively harm their families. And 10 being the great dads. Danny Tanner, Uncle Phil, Carl Winslow. That's the sort of thing that we're looking at.
Mr. Brady.
Mike, Mr. Brady.
I don't remember his first name.
Famous widower.
Oh. Rip.
I can remember every other Brady's name, but not his.
Well,
I don't know if maybe it was a sign of respect. We shall never say his first name. Mike, I'm going to have Alex go first because you interrupted me. So, Alex, where is Ray coming for you this episode?
Oh, well, first I would like to issue a formal suck it to Mike.
Who?
Can we have that placed on the record?
All right. Suck it. Yes. We should have a suck it given counter, and then Mike's got one.
Yep.
So we've got the suck it counter and the cum counter, but the two are not related.
Correct.
As far as you know. So, Ray was kind of throughout this entire episode, he was a force of simply trying to stop the storm that he saw coming. And I think his efforts were misplaced. I think a strong and productive, emotionally stable, individual who really was able to kind of, view this problem and progress forward would have, instead of trying to get Deborah to kind of stop, writing the letter, which in itself was a good idea, he should have tried to kind of, forward that kind of emotion into having Deborah sit down with Marie and talk face to face, or setting up a sort of intervention where kind of they're forced to speak with each other. Something like that. And that could have also led to some sitcom shenanigans. I think it was nice of him to try and, grab the letter on the way, and he kind of self-sabotaged himself in that regard too. I think he had all of his intentions were good in this episode. He didn't want anyone to be hurt. He didn't want anyone to, fight. And that was where a lot of his motivation lied. And honestly, I expected Ray to kind of not really even take action. That's kind of where we are. I'm kind of expecting him to try and, use his maneuvers to take the easy way out, to, do whatever it takes so that he gets to relax. But no, he really tried to stop it for the sake of the family. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I think he had a And a lot of that is, again, from that advice he gave to Deborah, which was legitimately good and backfired on Deborah because she sent out that note.
All right.
Adam.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'm sort of... It's hard to evaluate Ray in this one because in many ways he's just an observer. He's actually, the inciting action of if Ray hadn't double booked his party with Deborah's party, Marie wouldn't have come over to drop off the dip. Marie wouldn't have discovered the party.
Yeah, but Marie would have been over, right?
Well,
it's possible.
Sorry,
that, but
anyway. Still, yeah.
So, let's dock him a point or two for that. So, that was his fault. I give him credit, though, for, overcoming his initial resistance and very maturely saying, this is your battle. I'm going to step out of the way and support you as best I can. He tries to head off everyone getting hurt by the letter. And he does try to stop them reading the letter or taking it seriously by saying his wife is an alcoholic, which is not super cool. But his intentions were good.
You got to do what you got to do.
And yeah, other than that, he really is only an observer in this. So it is his fault in, the sense of he initiated the action which led to it. But yeah, like Alex is saying, throughout the whole thing, he wasn't the worst he's ever been. I'm comfortable coming in at let's say a 6. Neutral plus.
Okay.
Mike.
Really the only things that I really think he did wrong were, like we said, forgetting about the Tupperware party and double booking, which, yeah, it's bad, but it's also, super understandable. That's not that big a deal. And also kind of, sort of flirting with the Tupperware lady. That also wasn't great.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so,
True.
That wasn't awesome. But I also, as we discussed, as soon as the letter was written and Deborah was intent on sending it out, there was no good option for him, because sitting back and just letting the fireworks explode would have also been a terrible idea. So I really don't know if it's fair for me to dock him any points for that, because I think that he was trying to protect his wife in a crappy situation. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like a 6 is probably where I'm going to come in as well. I'll give him a 6. I think he did, or at least tried to do, more good than bad this episode. So I'll give him that.
All right, we are near consensus. What is the average, Mike?
That comes out to a 6.2 for Ray this episode.
All right.
Yeah, not bad, Ray.
Hey, no harm done really at the end.
Yeah.
Who knows? Marie still has the letter, but Ray himself, if anyone is losing points on this, I feel like it's Deborah. That was a bad move on her part.
Or, yeah.
But, we're not judging Deborah here.
No, we love
judging
Deborah.
Raymond.
No, we don't judge Deborah until Judge Deborah.
Yeah. And even then,
and then
it's really
Deborah
about
does
Deborah.
the judging. Yeah. Our mission here, we are funded by Limbrook University to evaluate Raymond's performance. The film and television department has given us quite a bit of money, which I promise we're not embezzling from for our various mayoral campaigns, to evaluate this man as a paragon of masculinity. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. I will say that, this might be too early to make a blanket statement like this, and I might be eating my words later. But generally speaking, when we were going into Everybody Loves Raymond, don't get me wrong, we all love the show, but I was concerned that we were going to be dealing with a lot of I hate my wife kind of things. And Ray is lazy, Ray is annoying, but I don't get that kind of sense from him. It's not an I hate my wife situation. It's a, wow, my family's dysfunctional. I'm trying to bridge these loyalties. So I've through the sponsorship of Limbrook University, I am grateful to go down this path and realize that, hey, it's not exactly that not as bad as I was anticipating. some stuff doesn't age well, but it's not the, for lack of a better term, boomer humor of wife sucks, I gotta deal with that whole beer football kind
My
of thing.
wife's not letting me watch the game.
Yeah, like that kind
That
of
sort
thing.
of thing. Yeah. I think it is more nuanced than that, and it's really specific to the character of Ray Barone. When he does poorly, it's because he's lazy or cowardly or, any of these other negative qualities that the character has. It's not... I mean, maybe it will be as they run out of ideas further along in the 9-season run, but it's not, my wife won't let me watch the game, or I've got to hide my beers in the garage from my wife, or my wife's not letting me eat steak. Like, these are all, like, the tropes that we really haven't seen a lot of, if any of, at this point in season 2. So, yeah, I think we've been pleasantly surprised, honestly.
True.
Although... he also ruined a man's funeral.
He's not the best guy. He's not the best guy.
But who knows what the balance will be at the end. But that's for us all to find out together next week. We're coming back. Season 2, episode 12 is on the horizon. And in the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Barone Zone, postfund.org/donate for the Baronis Zonus. It's going to continue to get bastardized to more and more ridiculous portmanteaus as we go on.
We're already pretty deep. We're doing a pun about a pun that we made about, it's already, we're already down there, but that's okay.
Raymond at postfund.org for email. Other than that, I think, Mike, there's only one last thing to say. Is that correct?
It's our classic sign-off, and that is that everybody
loves
Raymond, and we love you.
Deborah!